mics over here. Well, we got Hot Matt and Hot Mike running a couple of hot mics. Hi, everybody, and welcome to a New Year's Evening. Ooh. Matt,
okay.
We're going to talk WWE Legends in a Depends diaper-changing episode. Man, we're going to talk the Good Brothers 2 Sweetening this week. Man, it's another Brothers of Discussion. Who's excited? I am. Man, we're going to talk everything from the rest of our 2020 year in review picks. Ooh, don't want to miss those. Matt, our way too early Royal Rumble picks, which I feel like we start doing those right after SummerSlam. Well, really after the previous Royal Rumble, we start getting a lot like those poor bastards who do draft previews, and then they do like an NFL draft preview for the next draft the day after the last draft just ended. So that's us with the Royal Rumble. Matt, every episode, we, of course, are going to include a little something for that Wednesday Night War action. This episode is going to do that as well. Matt, before we get in, we always like to have a little lifetime banter. And, you know, today I had my Xfinity representative. He came over and got me cable, and I can cancel Hulu Live, which is what a waste of money that was. Didn't get any sports going. It was literally just wrestling at one point. And the guy came over. He was very pleasant. And he smoked a couple cigarettes. Not within view of me. He went behind the wooden fence into my neighbor's yard. So I couldn't see it.
But it didn't happen.
Yeah, if I can't see it, it doesn't happen. So I don't know. Hopefully my neighbors didn't see because there was just a hulking man back there. David! Welcome back, David. How are you?
Dave,
Matt,
you got
enough about me. Enough about the smoking gun in the backyard. Climbing up a ladder and putting a white cable up so I can watch more wrestling. How are things at your house?
They're doing great. I was gonna say, David, you got a present on the way, my man. I'll send you the deeds, but it's more important to me that I sent you that present. So keep an eye out. I will confess, the last time we sent out presents, it took like 3 more weeks than it was supposed to take. So be patient. Just know we're thinking of you and it's on the way. But thanks for playing along and doing some betting. I think once we get closer to the Royal Rumble, we might play some more games in that regard. So more reason for everybody to listen. Because hey, yeah, maybe there's more gear, more WWE.
This
AEW
is like
gear
the Brothers Discussion birthday, I would say. I mean, it didn't officially start on the Royal Rumble, but I think we started wanting to do a podcast because of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, well, I mean, also, Kane and Undertaker seem to be quite a big inspiration for the show. We are the Brothers of Discussion.
They named the show, but the Rumble, like Kane in 2001 eliminating, a third of the field. Oh, what a moment that will live in my heart forever. I still go back and I rewatch it, and I like to think that if I watch it enough times, one of those times he's going to win.
All right. Well, Dave's sick of our banter already. He's saying, "Let's talk about wrestling."
Wrestling. Yeah, let's do it.
I just want to throw out there, Mike. I just had a wonderful interview for our other podcast with a guy who's a pro wrestling fan. He attended some pretty huge wrestling events, including the It Was Me Austin event, which he's talked about on his own podcast. So if you guys are Red Wings fans, head on over to Red Wings Rant. He's going to be our feature this Sunday, and then the podcast will release on Monday. I did talk with him a little bit, and I was going to steal it for this show, but wrestling has destroyed him so much. It was so not made for this show. We talked about like solving the dilemma of being like drained or exhausted from the product, and basically he said, I love wrestling more because I don't watch it. So the Red Wings conversation is fantastic. I'm not saying this to say, man, I can't believe Ryan said that. I said it to him, and I listened to what his response was, and it crushed me because I was like, yeah, that probably is the best way to like wrestling, is to not watch 15 hours a week, right? All right. So, yeah, quick shout out to that interview, and I hope if you are a Red Wings fan, if you've run into this podcast, that you'll go check that out. But I had an absolute blast. So check that out on Red Wings Rant. On Sundays, we go live. That'll be at BOD Hockey. Alrighty. Mike, you asked me about my day and you completely left the screen, so I'm glad you were interested. So let's talk what happened this week in pro wrestling. Mike, first thing on your list, I've got it queued up so we can actually watch a bit of it. Let's see how long we can actually go before.
Dave, if you didn't see this live, or I guess when it first came out, it was really blowing up Twitter, deservedly. And it was our Mike Worker of the year, no contest. Eddie Kingston dropping an impromptu, just kind of, in the aftermath of the Brody Lee tribute. Matt, just go ahead and play it. It's going to be
just as always. Let me know if you can't hear it right away.
All right, we'll do.
Right, we made that man proud. So this doesn't end tonight. This does not end tonight. As long as this company's around, as long as I'm around, I know the rest of you will be here. We're going to do that every time. And we're going to make him proud, and we're going to make proud of everyone we've ever fucking lost. Because that's our art. That's what we do. Don't forget tonight. Use this. Take this energy. Yeah, it's negative now, but make it positive. And tell everyone you love them. Don't be like our fathers. Took my old man 55 fucking years to say he loves me. I love each and every one of you. Do you understand that? Because you put your bodies on the line. I love all of you. Stay, be with each other. God damn it, Brody. What a that motherfucker got me talking to everybody. But listen, we're going to get past this together. We're going to be stronger than anything. Tonight showed it. How strong we are. We fought through tears. We fought through everything. We put on probably the greatest tribute show I've ever seen in my life. We're going to carry it. Let's carry it. And let's do it.
Alrighty. I mean, honestly, like one of the greatest promos of all time right there. I have no problem saying that. It definitely it was hard to watch the first time. Thankfully, I've seen it a dozen times since, so I can actually talk about it and not get teared up. But Eddie Kingston, man, I mean, yeah, I've got no problem. I've got no qualms about saying like that was one of the best promos ever, and it had nothing to do with building up a match, building up the show. It was just a genuine feeling from a genuine human being, and honestly, it's something that if you were affected by Brody or if any tragedy, I mean, you could honestly like cue this up and play it because he's got a fantastic message about turning those negative feelings positive and making sure you talk to the people you love. I know, Mike, I just saw Mom and Dad today. They were watching Addie while Michelle and I got some ultrasounds for our new little one that's on the way. And, if you don't hold them a little bit tighter, give them a longer hug and a little kiss on Mom's cheek, like it's what it's all about.
Well, you didn't say it as well as Eddie Kingston probably would have, but Matt, I think you said it pretty well. Yeah, he just... I had to cut a promo against you, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, Eddie just further cementing his status as one of the best just heartfelt speakers in the history of pro wrestling. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going top shelf with my compliments. I've seen enough in his AEW time and just seeing him in candid opportunities when it doesn't seem like the cameras are going. Really rally the troops, really make it feel heartfelt. Sincere, eloquent, articulate, all that good stuff. It's really just a treat, and it's people like him that kind of remind you, it really sucks that we lost Brody, but we can get past this. And I think people like Eddie Kingston kind of helping to unify that whole locker room. Kind kind of being a stand-in for the fan experience, like where, we're not really quite sure what to say or do. And, he's kind of able to be there, be our vessel, and kind of be like, yeah, we can, use our wrestling fandom to get through tough times. And yeah, just thank you to Eddie. I'm really glad we included that little segment in the show. Also, it's the it's something that's owned by AEW. We don't own that. We just wanted to share it because it really resonated with both of us. So just in case.
Yeah, that probably is not going to make the YouTube cut. I didn't realize how many shots of AEW matches there were. I only remembered that's the thing is I've watched that quite a few times, and I only remembered Eddie Kingston speaking. I did not remember any of the flashes of anything that happened that night. Which speaks to what a great orator Mr. Eddie Kingston is. By the way, Mike, Eddie would have totally said what you said way better. You fucking sucked, man. All right, moving on. Sorry, I was so excited to say that the second you were done talking. I thought of something else to say. So
JR, Merry Christmas, Shivani and Matt, up yours. All right, here we go. Matt, Legends Night was this past Monday. They gave it a lot of promotion, and they trotted out the old guys. Matt, hot tag.
Yeah. Oh, let's do it. Here's our new hot tag
graphic. This is a really long graphic. Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess we don't want it to repeat.
Did this succeed? Did Legends Night succeed for WWE?
In what? Getting higher ratings? Yeah. It taught us all. Yeah, it taught us all that there are 2 million wrestling fans that will watch wrestling, and we realized that they don't care about Wednesday at all because they are not sniffing 2 million total on Wednesdays. So the thing of it is, it starts to make sense why we see. Not that we're talking. The WWE Legends coming up, and they didn't even tell us that Bill Goldberg was going to be there, so we can't really steal that and say that's why the ratings were higher. It's heartbreaking to see that people still want to tune in, and the guys that were advertised, and nothing against them, but I'm good. I'm ready to move on. But yeah, Booker T, Hulk Hogan,
Legends is
Alicia Fox.
To kind of mask that they wanted Goldberg to come in and have yet another championship match. Like you said, he wasn't advertised at all.
Another one. Yeah.
Was that do you think it would have been, for you as a fan, what experience would you prefer? The one we got, it's like on Monday where all the Legends came out, there was no Goldberg announced and he was the last one to come out, or would you have preferred to see Drew and Keith Lee have a battle, and then all of a sudden the drum hits from that dun 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 dun. Like it looked like it was a prop just to get the casual fans to pay attention again, and then oh crap, there's Goldberg.
So we're just changing up the script a little bit, where the fanfare or the
because I guess what they're trying to do is get as many eyeballs as possible. So that's where they bring in the casual fan by announcing Legends Night.
Okay, so maybe I'm confused with your question then. You're just saying you want me to change the entrance for Goldberg is what it sounded like? Because we got Goldberg, and then you said, or do I want the drum to start for Bill? What is this?
The question, you're really having a lot of trouble with this. So all I was saying was that they would either do Legends Night or they wouldn't. You still get Goldberg.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you should have asked that. What he said, do you want what you got, or do you want Bill Goldberg's entrance to start? I'll say, I mean, it makes sense from their perspective. From my perspective, I don't need any of it. I've been shitting on Legends Night since they announced it. It does zero for me. Absolutely. The only thing that makes me watch a little bit closer is I know that we can tweet about it and have more people see our tweets. That's it. That's the only reason I'm almost angry that it happens, because then I know I can't get away with kind of watching Raw and maybe play some video games. I know I have to keep a hard eye on the entire night to wait for something huge to happen. That's the long and short of it. It's almost frustrating to that end. But if it was for me choosing if I'm going to watch Raw or not, like from a pure entertainment standpoint, I don't.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't need to see these legends ever again.
I think the problem is that they don't have a story that we could sink into, like sink our teeth into. And if Dave is still out there, I'd like to hear if there's any matchup he would really give a crap about with Goldberg. And for me, there still is. I still want to see him and Big E have the match that Big E dreams about, the meaty men slapping meat. I want him and Goldberg to go at it. It doesn't look like I'm going to get that. They haven't announced it because they are determined to keep Goldberg, like if he's fighting in some sort of world championship realm. And really, I think I would be interested if he was just fighting Big E in a meaty men slapping meat match. Or if he's fighting Matt Riddle, and Matt Riddle would cut some really, right to the core promos about, you don't know how to do an arm bar, bro. That.
Yeah.
Those would really hit home.
Bro. That would
would
be wonderful to mix in that real life.
Yeah, and I mean, Goldberg, he can throw shade his way, but I think one thing that he definitely has in common with Stone Cold was, like, when he looked pissed, Dave's on board with Goldberg and Mac. When Goldberg was pissed, I think he wore his emotions on his sleeve. So that's why I think, like, him versus Riddle would really pop, because I think he really wants to annihilate Matt Riddle, but I don't know if he has the physical capability to do it since he doesn't know how to wrestle.
I'm sure the behind-the-scenes conversations have been, keep that guy away from me. I never want to see his face again. Like, and to be completely honest, Goldberg, despite the fact that I have zero interest in seeing him in the ring ever again, he is at that level where he could walk into a room, probably with a bunch of writers who are going to go, "Oh my God, it's such a pleasure to meet you. Oh, I can't wait to write your story." Like, he'll walk into that room and he'll make that comment, and they'll be like, "Oh, of course, yeah, no way, no Matt Riddle, it won't be within 1,000 miles of you." Dave, are you saying Matt Riddle joins the Drew McIntyre match? Because I'm already throwing up. I'm already throwing up at Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg, but now I am. Oh my God!
I'm gonna make the barf back in. Yeah, you're gonna
make a mess of this office. And I'm not just trying to like jump on the trend to like shit on Bill Goldberg. I've also been not excited about Sting coming back. Like, what world are we in that all of a sudden we can't wait to see these cripples walk into the ring and put on a shit show? Like, what's going on? What happened in pro wrestling? Why are we excited for this? I thought we wanted something new and something fresh, and instead we're going to change things so that Bill Goldberg can finish a match, so that we see his face for a few seconds. Like,
yeah.
What dimension?
With that said, I love the first X-Men movie. Oh, with Big E, Dave. Now you're speaking my language, buddy. Hell yeah. Like the first X-Men movie. We had Ian McKellen playing Magneto. Like, Goldberg's kind of our Ian McKellen, which is way too high a compliment for Goldberg. I immediately rescind that one. But I think I hope you kind of see what I'm getting at. Just the storylines don't work because it's always just him asserting himself right into the main event picture, and it just kind of seems undeserved, unearned, and it kind of feels like the writing's on the wall for the outcome.
Well, we want to be rewarded for learning these characters' backgrounds, and it just gets thrown right back in our face because it means nothing. Like, that's why you finish a book when you're halfway through, like, even if you do hate it. But there's more to that. There's more to loving the book and finishing the book, and you can't wait for the next book to come out. And it's because, one, you're enjoying the content, but you also want to see what happens from all these characters you learned so much about. That's why, like, you see the sequels of some stories they make so much more money in movies, and it's more of a philosophical and a psychological response from our brains, is because we still want to be rewarded for the time that we spent. Something I discussed again with Mr. Ryan Lambert today, and he actually had a lot of fun with that idea of fandom. And again, going back to like that brand loyalty conversation. So we spend so much time saying, I'm going to devote every Monday for the rest of my life watching Monday Night Raw. And then all of a sudden, everything we've done to prepare ourselves for Sheamus, everything we've done to applaud Drew McIntyre and his title run, it all goes out the window because now we're resetting and we go, oh, fuck, Goldberg's back. He's going to win the title. Brock Lesnar's going to challenge him at WrestleMania. And we're going to fucking hate WrestleMania again. I hate doing that, but like, I don't know. That's where we're at. And I love Big E. And I think it's fine for me to love Big E and respectfully say, you don't know what you're talking about in regards to Big E versus Bill Goldberg, because it's not what he thinks it's going to be. It's going to be a mess. It absolutely will be a mess.
I like the idea of Orton. Randy Orton had that, like, the legend kill, like the string of legend killer matches where he would, kind of beat up, the old fogies and kind of make his way up to like Ric Flair. So I kind of like the idea of Big E beating up other manly meat just in a meat slapping match, and they're both like extra baby oiled up, and he kind of eventually makes his way up to the pinnacle of man meat slapping with Goldberg. Similarly, the story writes itself with Matt Riddle. He's just out there having like old school, Malenko or Kurt Angle matches with just, technical mat wrestling. And he's finally like, I want to give Goldberg an education. I want to give, this old guy, he doesn't know anything about it. And it's storyline. Like, I think that would really build anticipation. I think people would really like tune in and buy tickets to go see that. To see if Goldberg can learn how to wrestle or if Matt Riddle can conquer somebody who's larger than life. I would treat Goldberg like the Undertaker, where Undertaker was way out of the title picture. Like he's, he doesn't need to worry about belts. Just being in the ring with him and, having a story there, I think is the best way to use him.
And I agree. Like I said, I like the real life getting mixed into that. That's why like when you said Matt Riddle, I said, of course. But then I followed up by saying Goldberg probably goes into these meetings and says, keep that piece of garbage away from me. I never want to see his face again. And again, he has the power to do that. Now Dave's thrown out there. We'll pivot a little bit. We'll stick on Legends Night. Why did Charlotte yell at her father? I'll tell you why. Because Charlotte needs me to be her number one fan. And there was nothing I loved more than on Legends Night to see somebody yell at one of these old fogies and tell them to get the hell out of here. That's what that represented for me. That was the like me as a fan and Charlotte saying, we're done with you guys. All you do is fuck me up. We need to look long term, and you sticking around here is going to screw up what I'm trying to do. Now, there's the kayfabe side of things where Charlotte was angry because Ric Flair got in the way of her victory. But if you take a look at it from my perspective, all he's doing is ruining this entire roster's chances to get over and move to that next step, because everybody who knows that there's that chance Ric Flair's going to come back is just going to say like, oh, I'm just not going to tune in until Ric Flair comes back again, which is ridiculous. This is, we shouldn't be worried about those people anymore because they don't buy tickets, they don't buy t-shirts, they just tune in for stupid Ric Flair or stupid Hulk Hogan. Forget them. Build your brand, build your roster, pretend like that never happened. Bring them back 40 years from now. Just talk about him. I mean, he's going to be dead, but that's it. The more that these Legend Nights continue to happen, the more that it's what do I want to say? Lessening? No. But the impact of what this roster is doing now is hurt every single time they do something like this, because they're saying what these guys are doing is not must-see TV. But when Ric Flair comes back to say, woo, you don't want to miss that. No. Fuck that.
Okay.
That's why it happened, Dave.
Dave, I think what Matt was trying to say is Charlotte yelled at her father because she's trying to plant the seeds for a main event match against her father at WrestleMania. Charlotte versus Ric Flair. Matt, hot tag. Who you got? Come on, Matt. Who you got? Charlotte versus Ric Flair.
Where's my Kenny Omega?
Oh no, Matt! Don't Oh no, not Kenny Omega. He doesn't approve.
Okay, Mike. If that happens,
I'm buying the T-shirt for both of us. It says the Ric Flair versus Charlotte Flair. The daddy-daughter dance you didn't know you wanted.
We are, Mike. This is the I feel like I don't even know you anymore. This is the we're a week removed from you saying Brock Lesnar, who wrestled a match last year, was Performer of the Year. Well, we're a week removed from that, and we are now hearing from you how excited you are and all of the all of the huge feuds that Bill Goldberg's going to be involved in now that he's back. Oh man, all those great stories that Goldberg's going to be able to tell now that he's back. You've got the Riddle story he'll refuse to get involved in. The Big E match that WWE will be way too afraid to book.
You know, Stephen King writes 1.5 books a year, and even he will be like, I got nothing. That Goldberg story guy, he is a genius.
Oh my God! Yeah, I feel like I lost a brother these last couple of weeks. I don't know who you are.
You lost a brother, but
like
you gained.
He's gone.
He gained a master level booker promoter for professional.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say troll.
No,
master level troll. Like
no,
picking Brock Lesnar. I'm gonna say it.
This new segment here, I don't want Dave to get confused. This is a Schitt's Creek, the television program, Schitt's Creek reference. This is not about Dave, our friend. Matt, this is the Ew David moment of the week. Matt, in the Ew David moment of the week, again, a Schitt's Creek reference, Damian Priest getting the big old call-up. They want to send that puppy over to SmackDown.
All right, so we can use the skip again because this is the end of Damian Priest. That character is gone.
Do we need him on SmackDown? I feel like he's already enough like Baron Corbin that we don't need two.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The only way this character gets over is 3 years from now, he turns into now Baron Corbin and wins King of the Ring. And we just hate him so much, he becomes a good heel. That is the only success that comes out of this character. I don't know what they're thinking. If he's just too big to find a good matchup.
Hey, he's too big for NXT.
Oh, like his... Dave's right there with us. He won't last long. I totally agree. I do not think...
Dave, you don't like when Damian Priest turns around and looks at the Jumbotron and goes, "Pew!" It doesn't do anything for you? No?
It builds nothing from that. Just does that. It's not like he's got a background. Maybe he does, but I have no idea if he has a background in like Olympic level archery. I don't know. Nobody knows because they do not. They have done the worst job telling this guy's story. Maybe it's just been so bad that now it's like. I was like a huge nerd in high school, but when I got my first job, I was like,
still high school. I mean,
listen, I'm a huge nerd now. When I got my first job, I went in there and I said, I'm gonna talk to people. I'm gonna be a whole new Matt. People are gonna like me, and it worked. It worked. I'm telling you. Like, I know I sound super pathetic right now. Trust me. I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You garbage.
Absolutely.
Oh, I fucking hate you so goddamn much right now.
Pathetic. All right.
But, like, I got, Mike, I vetted ladies from that first job. I mean, like, something that was never going to happen in high school happened at this job. Yeah. No, I'm just like the point being, maybe this is that opportunity. It's like Damian Priest just couldn't make it work in high school, so now he's going to go get his first job and try a whole new set of characters and promos. What do you think? That's the only way that could work.
I think that if we're going to see some character development, I think we need to see him go on the Cody Rhodes, go Big Show, and fire some arrows. I don't know, maybe see if Matt Riddle can teach him how to shoot an arrow with his bare feet, something like that. I don't know, but I didn't think that we needed a call up for Damian. I just thought we were going to learn who he was as a person. So I don't know. I would have, kind of marinated that story a little bit. Maybe threw out a couple.
Absolutely, any decision like this.
Just a couple narrative threads for us to kind of dig the old fingernails into, and nope. We're just gonna. He's kind of offensive, and he does this, and that's he's probably going to get more TV time than Aleister Black. So you're welcome.
For people listening and not seeing the show, Mike just used the tiniest bow and arrow of all time to signal what Damian Priest.
Called up, Vince will make him he'll come out on Valentine's Day and he'll be like Cupid.
Oh my God! Yes, I will be on board for Damian Cupid.
He comes out in a little red and white singlet with little hearts on it. That I would be a part of.
What if he? So let's keep the Damian part of this. Let's book this shit.
Yeah.
Who the hell booked this shit? Let's keep the Cupid. Let's keep the Damian. Let's have him break up friendships and relationships as Damian Cupid. So the Damian side of things, of course, in reference to the little boy Damian, who is the son of Satan, and Cupid, of course, the little chubby. What do you call that thing?
A little cherub.
Yes, the cherub. Yep. Take the little cherub, put him in a diaper still. But when he does his bow and arrow thing, he breaks up tag teams. It's like it's it's supernatural, like the Fiend. Like how he rebirths certain superstars into new storylines and characters. This is what he's going to break up tag teams so that Montez Ford can actually have a successful career. Oh, smash!
Oh man. I kind of like that idea of him breaking up tag teams. I like the idea of him breaking up tag teams. And like matchmaking. We're gonna have a draft. We're gonna make a tag team match. Woo!
What if it was purely dependent on him landing an archer shot? Like he's on live TV, just missing from. Oh, wait, stay there. Yeah, he's trying to figure out the wind inside whatever Florida arena is willing to have the WWE inside of it. Gamify it, but have it go to Vegas. How many arrows is it going to take for Damian Cupid to break up the Street Profits? Like this, Mike, we just stumbled upon pure genius here.
I think you're being a little too subtle with the name change. This is a company that Ricochet comes out to.
So it's just Satan Cupid going
forward? It should be Cherub Cupidson.
Well, where's the Satan part? I need the Damian part. Cherub Cupidson is still.
I like Cherub Cupidson.
It's
it
too
sounds
cute.
Like an ex-boyfriend of Rachel's on Friends. I like Cherub Cupidson.
It's a cute name, but it doesn't help. Mike, you're doing what the WWE does. We're trying to tell the Damian story, damn it.
It'll be a cute name, guys. Let's get the brain trust together. Dave, I want you to weigh in on this because we're just like 3 weeks away from the Royal Rumble, like our favorite event of the whole year. We've had a few names start trickling in, a few ladies' names trickling in about declaring themselves entrants into the Royal Rumble. We always love a good qualifying match, but who needs that? Just say you're in. So Matt, right now it's July 7th, 2021. We're going to be doing one of these picks every week to see how they kind of evolve. Matt, for the men, who do you have taking home the best, most favoritist thing of the Brothers of Discussion? Who's going to win that men's Royal Rumble?
Now, we're going to go back because this all started when Matt picked Shinsuke Nakamura. And then, of course, the easy pick, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins. Matt has nailed it since the show started. He also picked Big E back in November. I went back to take a look. Yep. Matt picked Big E to win the Royal Rumble, and now Big E tops the list if you check out the Vegas odds to win the Royal Rumble. So Matt is going to stick with his Big E pick, just like he stuck with Seth Rollins, Nakamura, and Drew McIntyre. Mike, this is going to be 4 Royal Rumbles in a row that Matt nails the winner months in advance before people are even making Vegas odds. Matt is going to nail it. Big E winning the Royal Rumble this year. And also, Mike, he has yet to nail a women's Rumble, although I did get it right. Wait, who won last year? Charlotte, right?
Charlotte won. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got that wrong, but it was the year previous we picked Becky.
I gotta say,
Rhea Ripley for the women's. All right, boom.
Oh wait, who for the women?
Rhea.
Oh, yeah, for the women, I think it is going to be Rhea. This might be like her big come out party, and let her get some revenge. I got to imagine Charlotte's going to probably pin Asuka at some point when their tag team breaks up. And Rhea can get revenge at WrestleMania for a year-long storyline. Something we always get in WWE's grill about for not having more of those. For the men, I think they're really throwing us a couple smoke screens. I don't think it's going to be Daniel Bryan. He doesn't really give a hoot anymore. I don't know if that moves the needle to see him get pummeled by Roman Reigns. I don't think it's going to be Randy Orton. He just has too much going on outside the main event picture. He doesn't really need a belt. Which brings me to my pick. Matt, we're booking Goldberg and Drew McIntyre to fight for the strap. WWE likes revenge, but only at their discretion. I'm going to have to do it. Matt, my pick right now, the Beast, Brock Lesnar. He's going to come back at the Rumble at not number 30. I think everybody's already going to be out. He's going to come out at 31 and eliminate everybody with minimal effort, minimal contribution to the show. He's either going to be able to fight Roman, Drew, or Goldberg. That's what's going to happen.
All right, so I'm typing this up because we have had invites to join other people's shows for the Royal Rumble. We're going to have a ton of shows going forward. I think it's fine if you change your pick. But it's going down in the Brothers of Discussion history books that you picked Brock Lesnar a week removed from you saying he's Performer of the Year last year. And, oh, good. Thank God. All right. Andre chimed in here. Just had to get away from this Brock Lesnar stuff. Thank you, Christ, Andre, for chiming in. I predict Bobby Lashley to win the Men's Royal Rumble this year. I'd like to see Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler win the Women's Rumble. I think, though, all of those are perfect. I just... There's something about Rhea getting that call up. Maybe she is the, what do you want to say? Like the plant kind of thing. Like we're all going to think it's Rhea. And that's where Bianca comes in and knocks Rhea Ripley out because she did struggle to find a victory over Rhea. So this could be that opportunity to say, boom, she knocks her out. And them to be the final two would be fantastic to really sell like these two as they make their move into the main roster. I think that would be awesome.
I don't hate it, but I think the big money
match it's the final three, Bianca, Shayna, and Rhea. Holy shit, would that be awesome?
That would be cool. But I think that what this company wants to do is see Charlotte and Rhea go at it again. Rhea get her revenge. But Bobby Lashley, I don't hate it. And honestly, when you think about like the recipe it usually takes to be that Royal Rumble winner for the men, usually you have like a loss or two, and he's getting that loss or two right before Royal Rumble. Like he's losing to Matt Riddle, taking pinfalls. He's not losing in like a count out or something. He's losing in pinfalls. The only thing holding him back is he still has a U.S. title. And to my memory, outside of like, oh gosh, I don't think anybody. Yeah, I'm trying to think like there was that. Oh, Dave's piping in. Yeah, Bob, I don't think Bob's going to win. I think he's going to have a lot of eliminations, but I just...
Here's what's going to happen.
I think they're just worried that he's not going to be enough to, sell a main event at Mania.
I think Bobby Lashley's going to have a game-changing Royal Rumble. I don't think he's going to win. I think he's going to knock out Brock Lesnar, and that's going to be a WrestleMania match that we've all been dying to see. Is a couple of guys that are MMA... like legit MMA fighters going at it, and they could really go to town on each other. I think that would do wonders for Bobby. I don't know if he's ready for the main event title picture because it has been such a hard sell for the fans. I think I'm fine with it. I think as long as MVP is leading Bobby Lashley, it's an easy sell. But I would love for the long journey to be Bobby Lashley knocks out Lesnar, beats him at WrestleMania, and we finally start to separate from Lesnar. So now this is 2 straight WrestleManias he's lost. And again, Mike, then you'll make that argument that he's, anointed a couple of guys as the roster continues to grow, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre. And then Bobby will then have this opportunity to fight either Drew McIntyre or Bill Goldberg, whoever's got the title, or he runs over to SmackDown and takes out Roman. Like, that could be like,
I love that
enormous
idea because it treats Lesnar like Undertaker, where he's more of a career stepping stone to be in the ring with him instead of in the championship match. But WWE, they don't like booking Lesnar and Undertaker like that. Or and Goldberg like that. They like having them kind of, at the top of the card, only fighting for the top gold in the company. So I'd like to see them kind of pivot from the way they've treated him, but I just see Bobby succeeding, like having great success, but I don't see him winning.
And Andre's right there. They got to book that match. Now, I bet, Andre, you'd probably be on board too with I will say, I've been dogging Bill Goldberg. It would be pretty sweet to see, like, Goldberg, Lashley, Lesnar, throw in Biggie. I don't care. Do a fatal 4-way for a title. At that point, then I'm like, okay, there's all the big meaty men slapping me.
Ooh, like at the top of the ladder, a big thing of meat, like a big Omaha steak.
No, it's Otis. Otis is meat hooked.
They got him right up by that butcher brown string, and he's just up there with like an apple in his mouth, like a pig. Yeah.
Or they could have Kane do it, like in See No Evil. He had that big old meat hook on a chain. He's gonna do that. Hook up Otis, pull him over like a whatever you call a lever there. All right, I'm getting gross now. I don't want Otis to die, but I think he has enough girth to take that meat hook and still be hung over the match by 20 feet.
Matt, beautiful word. We're almost at the Wednesday Night Wars, Matt. We're almost pushing an hour here. I know we wanted to talk just a couple last things from 2020 year in review. The faction of the year. Now, there's one entry in here I think people might laugh at, but here's who we had. The Dark Order, which I think they really made a late push. And Inner Circle, they've added some members here in 2020. Matt, Retribution, the one that might get some giggling and tee-heeing, and then the Hurt Business. I honestly think you could make a case for all 4 of them, I think. Maybe not as strong a case for Retribution, but I think you could make a case for all 4. 3 of the 4 is pretty good. 75% of these teams you can make a case for. Matt, make the case for your winner.
I think what was funny is I was about to say I think we picked our winner last week when we anointed MVP as the Mike Man of WWE. Like we put him on such a high pedestal. We forgot to mention Bray Wyatt and the Fiend and all of his promo work. But that's fine. Like, I'm fine forgetting that exists because I'm so enamored with MVP and all of his work. Now, what the Hurt Business has done, especially for the wrestlers involved in there, but I mean, it's been game-changing, I think, for pro wrestling. This is something where we were asking for, let's redo Nation of Domination, and MVP actually made a statement of, no, what that was is fine. This is something completely different. And Mike, to some point on what happened on AEW last night, like we saw, sometimes you just can't make new things. You just have to go back and retread the old stuff because you're just not creative enough. But you do the Hurt Business is brand new, and they've made it work, like from scratch with guys that have struggled previously on different creative runs. To have success and have the formula be, let's grab guys that have struggled before to like become badass champions. And now they're all badass champions. They're not just champs. Like, we've done that before. Like, I'm sorry. Like, Chad Gable's been champion as a tag champion, but he was never badass. This is guys that you legit want to watch on television. You want to hear them speak. You want to see them keep winning. And you've done that with guys that struggled mightily with any sort of individual campaign that was created in their individual storylines. So putting them together did wonders for them. It did wonders for the idea that you don't have to rely on an old hat to get people to tune in or to believe in a pro wrestler. And you put the time in it, you put the effort, and you rely on the talent that those guys have. You took the mic away from Bobby Lashley, but you let him kick the shit out of people. That is a formula for success. You've put people, we talk about it all the time, good casting. For people that don't like Drew McIntyre, I will never understand it. But he's perfectly cast as a champion and as the goofy, sometimes overly confident becomes goofy. Like it just works. For Bobby Lashley to perfectly cast him, he needs to kick the shit out of anybody who's put in front of him, and he needs to not talk. That's the role he's perfect for. So they've put all these guys in this perfect position, and I don't know how you work.
Well, here's what I'm gonna do, Matt. I'm gonna go on the coattails of that one. I picked MVP as my God, one of the most important wrestlers of 2020. As far as taking a floundering Lashley, Alexander, and Benjamin, and making them relevant. Being a mouthpiece for these guys who, for the longest time, maybe being on the mic wasn't their strong suit. We know Benjamin was the gold standard, an incredible physical specimen. Alexander, multiple time cruiserweight champion, incredible athlete. Bobby Lashley, just, a guy just Greek sculptors would blush like, I could never hope to chisel such a man. MVP took them under his wing. A guy who, I just learned the other day, it was one of the first Intercontinental champions in New Japan. He was, hell of a career going up, and I'll never forget him battling Ric Flair at Royal Rumble. God, what was that, 9 years ago? But yeah, he's just the character, the gimmick hasn't needed masks. It hasn't needed a sing-along. It hasn't required, 10, 12 members. It's just guys who were fed up with how, we've been treated our whole careers, and now we'd like to be taken seriously. And it's not just that we're declaring it. We're going to start taking these wins and losses seriously. We're going to start dressing in professional attire. And this is business. This is a hurt business. As base as those definitions could be, we're here to beat people up, and we're here to do it for money. And this is our job. We're taking it seriously. So I don't think there's a more perfectly apt named faction than the Hurt Business. Just an A+ performance for the whole year. Matt, before we leave this topic, I'm going to give you 60 seconds to make the second place case for one of those teams. Go.
The Inner Circle gave us the probably one of the best in-ring. I don't know if I want to call it like a promo segment, but the song and dance number from MJF and Chris Jericho. It's just something that you attach Chris Jericho to, and it's money. Literally, they've been banking on T-shirts ever since that segment. Yeah. I think if you thought Retribution or the Dark Order should have gotten it, the Dark Order, I absolutely understand where everybody's coming from, but it was not something I tuned in to watch. I'm sorry to say. That it takes nothing away from the loss and the hurt I feel for Brody, me losing him, us losing him, and his family losing him. And it has nothing to do with it. But it 1,000% was not something I tuned in on Wednesdays to make sure I saw. MJF and the Inner Circle absolutely was. And I think I'm being completely fair in making that assessment. But I'm only mentioning the Dark Order stuff because it's on our list, and I don't have to say anything about Retribution.
That's 60 seconds, man. Here we go. I'm going to make the case for the Dark Order, actually. I don't think that they were super relevant until Brody Lee came on the scene. I think he elevated every single member of that team. And it's thanks to Brody Lee's efforts, Brody Lee's conviction in his promos, the comedy in his promos, and he's throwing the paperwork at people like John Silver, who suddenly are becoming household names. The Stu Graysons, the Evil Unos. It used to just be a schmaz of guys in masks, and now I feel like they have real character. People do care about that group, and the reason I wouldn't put Inner Circle up there is because it's still Jericho and friends. Where I feel like, even with Brody's passing, the Dark Order has made people stars out of John Silver, Alex Reynolds, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno. So I think that they've been elevated by being in that faction where Inner Circle is still Jericho and friends. But yeah, let's move on.
And real quick, Andre threw out there, Inner Circle doesn't need MJF and Wardlow. That faction hasn't been the same since those two were added. Her business is money. MVP's underrated creative mind. So bingo, bango. So number one, I think we're all in agreement. Her business, no doubt. It's just we get down to 2 and 3 is kind of the problem areas. Best.
We're running out of time here, Matt. Let's get into those Wednesday Night Wars.
Okay, just real quick. Best of the Fiend for me, Mike, was John Cena, and due for the 2021 push. I'm gonna, after yesterday, it's got to be Raquel Gonzalez, and that'll lead us into that Wednesday Night War conversation. But if you wanted to pick one from that list, feel free.
Yeah, because I was thinking about putting a AEW member in that 2021 list, but it's like those guys are. It's a different kind of mentality on that show. The only one I could really think of was Darby, and he has a championship already. But now he's bumping elbows with Sting. He's considered one of the big baby faces on the show. So yeah, I think just more main event push for that guy is. I don't see a star burning brighter right now than Darby on AEW. And as far as Best of the Fiend goes, it's not that he or she needed it, but I think just the way that it popped when it first hit the screen, and just added new dimensions to both their characters. It's Alexa Bliss. I love the Strowman matches. I love the Cena one. That's the one I'm probably going to rewatch over and over, and I show it to other people. Randy Orton getting lit on fire was a great moment. But yeah, Alexa Bliss. We're building that Joker Harley Quinn dynamic, and it's probably the one when I think of the Fiend in 2020. It might be. I'll admit it might have some recency bias, but it's what I'm going to think of because I want to see more of that. I want to see how they develop with each other. But yeah, let's get into those Wednesday Night Wars, man.
The Wednesday Night Wars. All right, cool. So, got music playing now on YouTube. So if you guys want to hear cool music, oh wait, no, we'll have the music on the podcast. Sorry, I'm dumb. Anyways, Mike, I don't know how anybody thinks NXT did not win this night. Even you know what? Have Bullet Club come out, have NWO come out. The better wrestling TV show was fucking NXT. So let's do this.
The way we do Wednesday Night Wars, we do the top 3 moments of each show, and then we include a dishonorable mention. Matt, I gotta say, looking at the card for NXT, looking at the card for AEW, I think I'm going first. I think you're right. I think NXT won this week. Their card was incredible. It was basically a takeover card for a regular Wednesday show. I'm gonna take moment number 3 here, Matt. I gotta say, gosh, there was 2. My problem, Matt, is that there was 2 dishonorable mentions, but I'm gonna say moment number 3 was Snoop Dogg dropping. It was supposed to be a frog splash, but as my lady friend can attest to, there's quite a few strands of marijuana out there, and again, every time we do an explanation like this, we end up turning into Fred Willard. So, according to my significant other, it turns out there's more than just the weed. There's a whole array of strands out there. You can pick and smoke and shoot into a brownie, anything you can imagine. And I think if Snoop Dogg were to name that finisher where he collapsed off the top rope, all 7'9" of him, I have to think it would be the famed strand, the Alaskan Thunder. Oh, fuck! Splash. Because that looked painful for Snoop Dogg. Oh, my God. All those bones cracking with no meat to support them. My God.
He's not a young man anymore, Mike. I'm gonna do the research right now.
I'm okay to criticize him because Sasha Banks definitely said, "Fam, we got to work on that." So I feel better knowing Sasha Banks has my back on that criticism. But man, it was
he's 49,
and I will say, of all the celebrities out there who could have made a wrestling cameo and just butchered the crap out of it, and still came out smelling like weed and flowers. I gotta say, it's probably only Snoop Dogg. Only Snoop Dogg could have pulled off that terrible of a splash.
Yeah, I had a lot of thoughts about that, and you know what? I'm not a fan when this stuff happens in the WWE, and I don't know why all of a sudden we're okay with it in AEW. So there's a lot of things going back and forth that did not need to be on my TV. But,
it made me laugh super hard, so I had fun with it. It improved my night.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you had fun. Now, Mike, while you were watching Snoop Dogg, I was watching Xia Li debut her brand new badass fucking character with Boa on the sidelines. She took out Katrina Cortez. Mike, this is everything we've been begging for, and it was a squash match, and it's still like one of the top-rated matches from yesterday. If you head on over to I don't know, the Wrestling Wire kind of thing. This is everything we've been hoping for. It was I think what we're learning is that Xia Li was just getting used to what was going on here at NXT, because everything she did yesterday was perfection, and it was everything we want from a brand new character introduction. You need the squash match. I'm not someone who's gonna say it was a squash, so I'm not gonna acknowledge it. It means so much to the story. You and I said it a million times. It needs to affect the story for it to make my list of best things to happen. And I can't think of something better than this than to say that we introduced a brand new Xia Li, who we know is off the charts incredible from an athletics perspective. And it looks like they're developing a character. As we've seen with Asuka, some changes were needed. They needed to get some new voices in the writer's room to figure out how to make Asuka's communication struggles work on TV. I think they just solved anything that was going to be an issue with Xia Li as well. And I'm all here for it. And I can't wait to see what the next chapter is in this, because that first one was incredible. I want to see who's under that mask. Can't wait for Switchblade Jay White to be revealed as the, it was him all along, Mike. Switchblade Jay White. No, I'm just kidding. I know it's not him, but that would be fucking amazing. But I don't know if there's any more to say about this, because it was quick and deadly, and I can't wait for more. Mike, you ready to? Do you want to touch on Xia Li?
I am definitely ready to touch on Xia Li.
Number 2.
Woo! All right, Matt got me out. Beautiful move there, Matt. Oh, number 2 for all extra time wrestling here, AEW. It's got to be Wardlow and Jack Hager. My God. And it's not that it was the greatest match of all time, but it was just a good old hoss fight, as Jim Ross liked to call it. AEW keeps, trotting out poor JR commentary to, call women's matches. And he's like, well, there's 2 non-men wrestling. He doesn't know what to say or do. But luckily, 2 big old hosses came out there. And, JR was just sparkling with enthusiasm. Bonnie was excited. All of the inner circle was up the ramp watching and kind of cringing, when the big blows would hit. And I gotta say, I think the majority of the smarks out there, and I include us in that smark category, we thought, well, it's probably going to end in a no decision, some shenanigans. They're both going to collapse through a table, some crap like that. To protect everybody, but Wardlow got a clean victory over Jack Hager. I don't. At this point, I think AEW's maybe going to let Wardlow, kind of shine on his own a little bit. He's, kind of been relegated to the crony of MJF, but this definitely kind of helps, elevate him a little bit. Give him a little more importance on the card. A little bit of a stepping stone over Jack. And I don't know if that means that he's eventually going to be, you know, one of Kenny Omega's, you know, next like middling feuds, something like that. Because we've seen AEW kind of push bigger guys, you know, for like immediate title matches, you know, in the aftermath of a big win like this. But it was a fun match to watch, and it's something that, you know, we've harped on. And I know you mentioned it last night when we were on Twitter, just talking about, you know, adding depth to a division. And if you can add some even more depth to that, you know, kind of main event AEW championship picture, even if Wardlow probably won't win, you know, to kind of build up a big guy like that, you know, it's always that classic David and Goliath match. You know, and Wardlow would be happy to step up as that Goliath. So, Matt, that's my number 2.
And I got to throw out there, Andre is super psyched about that Xia Li kick, too. He wants to call it the COD, the concussion on delivery. I freaking love that. I don't know who we need to talk to, but we got to make that happen. Now, the number 2.
I have such a crush on her. I'm so excited that she's finally getting the recognition she deserves.
Another couple of people I have a crush on after last night, and surprisingly enough, Mike is my number 2 and not my number 1. Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly deliver another banger.
Wow.
But Mike, this night of NXT delivered, in my opinion, a couple of match of the year candidates, which is nuts because you only have 2 hours to put a show together. And you usually see like those longer matches where you go, oh, it's match of the year because it was super long. But I mean, in all seriousness, this is number 2. Number 1 deserves to be number 1, but this could easily be number 1. I mean, it's just crazy to me that in one night we got 2 bangers, and they do so much. You've really told the story of Kyle O'Reilly. Unfortunately, he does not deserve. He does not fit the championship mold, and I'm fine with that as a truth. And I'm really cool with him being able to take Finn Balor to the limit twice. They told a tremendous story in the ring of hurting each other's jaws now. And then Finn getting hurt in his arm. And then, you know, they made a point on NXT Twitter to say they're both being sent to the hospital, which probably not. But it's cool to add that to the story. Like, they really took each other that far. But ultimately, like, this is one of the best NXT matches on a regular NXT show I think we've ever seen. And I highly recommend you take the time to check it out. It's a tremendous finish to the story, and it does so much to say that when Finn Balor eventually faces Karrion Kross, that is going to be a fucking huge match. And it's because Finn had to take out Kyle O'Reilly twice. And for Kyle, this is it. This is now... Undisputed Era has holders of Match of the Year candidates in 2 different spots. And of course, from a tag team perspective, they've always had those Match of the Years, especially when it came to anything they were doing with Mustache Mountain. So, I mean, the Undisputed Era is not something we even brought up for Faction of the Year, but I think it's because it is getting a little old and we want to see a major change. We want to see it go to the main roster. I don't think we're ever going to see that happen, to be completely honest. But from a faction perspective, this is now one of the greatest factions of all time.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot to debate there. They just win, and all of them are excellent in their own way. It's a fantastic group. Matt, that's for AEW.
Dishonorable mention.
Get to the dishonorable mentions.
You have 2 of them, you said.
Well, I was going to put Snoop Dogg in there, but it brought such a skip to my step and a smile to my heart. I couldn't do it. It made me too happy to see the old Snooper with his. I'm so proud of that one-liner. I think it was Chris B who gave me some love for that Alaskan Thunder. Oh fuck! But Matt, the dishonorable mention. We're going to have to start keeping track of how often the poor women's division and AEW gets the dishonorable mention, because once again, another entry. Hikaru Shida, fantastic talent. Abaddon, one of those, unique characters where, she looks like a Danny Boyle zombie from 28 Weeks Later. She's got the different color contacts. She's got the gore coming out of her mouth. She's got that commitment to the, crawling, zombie-ish, ghoulish character. And for a couple of weeks, we were really inspired because you're like, wow, look at, she's kind of challenging Hikaru. She's, right there, taking kendo sticks to the face, and then getting right back up, a la Undertaker and Kane. And then she immediately got a championship match that lasted all of 8.5 minutes. Her best offense was done under the ring when she took a chunk out of Hikaru's neck, bit her right in the jugular for the storyline. But Hikaru, like when a wrestler takes a bump on the knee and then they kind of hit their knee, I got to get the blood flow back in. Hikaru did the same thing for her jugular getting opened up, going, come on, blood, stay in that neck. Come on. Abaddon barely got any offense in. Her challenging to Hikaru was over in 8 minutes. And then just to make sure there was no doubt that this feud was officially over, as soon as the bell rang and Shida, threw up her championship and, the ref held up her hand, they immediately cut to her next feud with Ty Conti, who's like, yeah, I'm going to beat you up and all these other generic promos. So Abaddon, as quickly as she came into our lives, she's already out. She's already getting swept under the rug. Matt, it's heartbreaking stuff. I really had high hopes for Abaddon. But, Matt, there's still moment number 1 for AEW to rescue all the broken hearts who watched Abaddon fall from one knee to the face. Matt, it was Kenny Omega and Rey Fenix. And the first 5 minutes of this match, I was like, whatever. Kenny Omega just airbrushes his pants. Rob Van Dam did that 20 years ago. And then Omega and Phoenix just lit it up with springboard pile drivers. We saw these incredible gymnastic Frankensteiners. Like the juice that just keep going. The endurance that these guys had to keep these moves going. For everything they did, it never felt like a spot fest. It honestly just felt like, I'm getting top level competition. I'm going to have to do something even more daring and painful to the other guy to finally come out on top. But part of the reason that this match and this show was not quite at NXT's level is AEW was trying to sell next week's program, and next month's program, and next year's program. So this match kind of got snuffed out. It didn't quite have, the full 30 minutes that it deserved, and that, it kind of felt like emotionally we were building towards. Because, they wanted the Good Brothers to come out. So Omega and Phoenix had an A+, and it kind of chopping it time-wise to make sure they could fit in all the extracurricular kind of knocks it down to an A-. They had to get the Good Brothers in there. They had to run out the Young Bucks, who are seemingly rebuilding, Bullet Club. And then, we got to see our boy Eddie Kingston pummeling Rey Fenix's boys in the back, Pac and Penta. So it's a lot going on. It just wasn't enough to topple NXT this week, Matt. So you should absolutely watch Omega and Phoenix, especially if, like me, I'm still kind of on the fence about, seeing Omega as the greatest of all time. But a match like that, I'm like, all right, I get it. So, Matt, your dishonorable mention for next Extra Time Wrestling.
Well, we got to go, and this is going to go quick because my poor baby girl is not having a good night. Santos Escobar being compared to Io Shirai by Wade Barrett. I'm sorry, Santos is doing a great job. Not up to that level. So that's my dishonorable mention. Number 1 for NXT, I've already said it, is, it's Raquel Gonzalez and Rhea Ripley. You've got amazing spots in that match. And the right person got over. And I think this is going to be the perfect way to send Rhea, who, had interference from Dakota Kai, getting measured into this. So she's not hurt by this at all. But you finally have Raquel getting over Rhea. And now she is anointed as the new Titan of NXT women's wrestling, NXT wrestling, period. And I think this is going to do wonders for whatever those matchups are going to look like before she's crowned NXT champion. I'm super stoked for it, and I'm sure there's folks out there that probably need to hear more before they're convinced, but I'm telling you right now, this is one of the best women's matches we've gotten out of an NXT show ever. And it's because these two women have that relationship. It's because of the power that they can put into these matches that other women can't put into their matches. You're getting something different it's almost like the opposite side of the spectrum of in men's wrestling. When we see somebody like AJ Styles stand out, it's because it's so different from what we saw when Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior were going at it. This is that other side of the spectrum where these ladies are incredibly athletic and agile. So you still have those elements of AJ Styles mixed into it, but they also have incredible power, and you don't want to miss it. It's something that everybody that is at the top level for WWE was tweeting about it last night. It's for a reason. It's because they don't want you to miss some of the best content they've put on television, YouTube, and the WWE network. So don't miss it. Unfortunately, like I said, I got to run, and I hate that when I do this, I usually run away from my interviews early. Mike, I love you. I got to go. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. Find us at bodpodcast.com and brothersoftdiscussion.com. And
Dave, thanks for coming.
All right. Thanks, guys. Subscribe on YouTube if you are catching this because of some wonderful SEO work done by myself. We would greatly appreciate it, and we want to see you stick around and throw in your comments when we go live next. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.